Sunday of what?
Football!
Everyone agrees? Like some people are thinking about it. What is it? The first Sunday of February, which is Super Bowl Sunday, I guess they want to call it. I really don't care because my team is not part of it. Okay, but the most important part of this Sunday, we have Communion Sunday, which is a very important thing as well. But also the most important part is
Black History Month.
Black History Month. Now, y'all know the way I feel about Black History Month. There shouldn't be anything else Black History Month, okay? There should be just history. And all history should be a part of all history. So, I thought about this, and I'm going to concentrate on us for this month. And I didn't think about this when I put it together, but I have Dr. Francis, who is a health doctor, right? And he's going to speak to us today about health. But today is also the Super Bowl. So it's not going to be so healthy. So whatever information Dr. Francis is going to give us, you got to bank it, and you're going to start it on Tuesday, on Monday. Tuesday, have the leftover. You know, he's going to talk to us. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but I know Dr. Francis, and he's going to blow our minds about health. And one of the greatest things that is destroying people is health. What we eat, how we eat, what we put in our bodies. I'm going to ask a question. If you feel bad, you don't have to put your hands up. But I would like to see, how many of you exercised this week?
Oh.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so that's some of the stuff that really get our bodies working. Exercise, walking, right? Moving around. How many of you drank a lot of water this week? I see a lot of people hands that were up for the exercise didn't put their hands up for the water. You know, if you exercise and you don't drink water, you may faint because you dehydrate. So you gotta put both of them together. Right? So, but I heard something that a lot of people die because they don't go to the doctor, first of all. Right? They don't take care of themselves. And I just don't want Living Word just to come and preach to you about your heavenly soul, which is very important, because that's what we're going to do. But you are living here as well. And as we live here, we're going to take care of our bodies. We only got one body. And once that body is destroyed, we're never going to get it back to where it's supposed to be. So we're going to focus on us. We're also going to focus on finance this month as well. There's some videos we want to show you. We want to get our finance. Now, I was watching something, and I know the kid's going to go, and I want you to listen to this for a minute. This guy was talking about interest rate. And the guy was saying that, let's say Leroy and I live right next door to each other. And let's say Leroy's interest rate is 720 or 730, someplace up there. Credit rating, sorry. That affects the interest rate. Credit rating. Thank you, your credit rating. So thank you. So let's say Leroy and I live next to each other, and Leroy's credit rating is 720, 730, right? And mine is 650. We go and we buy the same exact house, right? Same price, same house. Let's say $500,000. Do you know I'm paying a whole lot more for that same house that Leroy is paying a whole lot less? Why? Because your credit rating. These are the things we need to start thinking about. I remember when I went to buy my new Lucy. I went in to buy the new Lucy because the old Lucy was so faithful to me. All right, stop it. The old new Lucy was so faithful. And when I walked up, I had made a decision about the car I was gonna get, right? And they had one that had the hubcaps. I didn't want the hubcaps. I wanted some new rims. Because like I was saying to Leroy, the hubcaps is like a woman get dressed in a beautiful wedding dress and have slippers on. It just doesn't line up. You need to put expensive shoes on to match the dress. So I walked up and I said to the guy, I like the, first of all, I didn't like the color of the car at first. Because he had hubcaps on it. But when they put the rims on it, that color became, wow. It's the shoes. It's the shoes. Now I forgot where I was going, so what was I talking about? Lucy, thank you. Bring back to Lucy. So Lucy, so now, as I walked up to make the decision was, I was gonna get another car that was a year older, and it was had 15,000 miles on it. And the car had, some miles on it, this was a used car, but it only got 15,000. And the guy says to me, Peter, look at the difference here. This is a brand new car, 2017, right? I'm giving it to you, I'm taking some money out of the list price, and also, if you qualify, you're gonna get the car interest-free for the life of the loan. So I said, interest-free for the life of the loan? I said, yes, but I still didn't want the hubcaps. So he said, I will take care of the hubcaps, I'll give you the rims, but will you be qualified for the interest-free? So I went up, we filled up the paperwork, the guy called me, this was 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Before I left, we were qualified for the free interest rate for the life. Why? Because my credit, years past was messed up, and Martins and I should help me get my credit to where I could buy anything we want. I don't have to pay for interest rate. Now to think about Peter buying a car, we don't have to pay interest on the car. That's impossible. But it happened. Because it's happened. My thing is, we don't think about these things. And these are the things that affect us when we buy a car, a house, anything we want to get. And that's why I want Living Word to start thinking about these things. The kids, we need to start thinking about how we get these kids to start thinking about money, finance, and stuff. I'm not going to say Dr. Francis helped me set up an account in the stock market for Jada and Joshua, okay? Because I want them to start thinking about how they start thinking about these things. Because when I die, I want to be able to leave them in a situation where they're better off than when they started out with. And we are the one that has to do it. The church, we need a building, we need to have a good finance over buy a building, interest rate is low. So all of this stuff, our health, our interest rate, all ties into our lives. And especially in our community, a lot of us have really bad credit. And we need to change that. And Living Word, I just don't want to get you to heaven. I want you to have a beautiful life here on earth where you can buy what you want and live a good life and enjoy yourself. Right? So when Ernst drove up in a big Mercedes, we don't look at Ernst, what are you doing? Ernst have good credit. Kids, you're dismissed. Dr. Francis, come and talk to us, please. Guys, welcome Dr. Francis. Give him a hand. Thank you.
Happy New Year. I want to thank God for the privilege of a brand new year that we didn't get because we are so good, but God, in His infinite mercy, decided to give us this privilege. Hallelujah. And I want to also thank Pastor Peter for thinking that it is important for Christians to do something between when they are born and when they die. That time period, the quality of it ought to be bad. But that's not always the case. Part of my challenge today is to get us to think and challenge us about our responsibility to God for all the good things He has done for us. I scheduled my physical exam a long time ago for tomorrow. And Pastor Peter called me a few weeks ago to talk about her. So yesterday, I thought in my mind I was going to talk for about 5 minutes. So as I was driving back home, the Holy Spirit prompted me, call just to confirm. So I called Pastor Peter. I said, how many minutes am I supposed to talk? 5 minutes or so? He said, no, you have all the time. I said, okay. The challenge for somebody like me is how do I compress all that I know about her into a 40-minute period. That's the challenge. So I'm praying. At 3 o'clock this morning, I woke up to try to compress everything. And a song appeared to me that I've been playing over and over again. I am no longer a slave to fear. So this morning, I come and I sing that song being played, Hallelujah, that I'm going to ask them to put up just in 1 minute. And then, there's something I call Heaven's Diet. So this morning, about 3 o'clock, I put the diet together just to show you a sample. And then I come this morning and I say Daniel's Diet, which is all fruits and vegetables. So I have no question in my mind that God is in this message. Amen. John, if you put up that song, please. If we can just sing it, but as we sing it, I want us to think about each word. Pastor Peter always says, we sing many of these songs, but it really doesn't impact us. If we can sing it briefly, please. Time, help us. There's a particular passage in that song that I circled.
Praise God.
You unravel me with the melodies, you surround me with the song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God.
We are the sons and the daughters. Let us sing our freedom. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me, and I will stand and sing because I'm a child of God. Hallelujah. Do we walk into the vitality and the vigor that God has promised us? Bad news first, and then the good news. That's our spiritual work. We all sinned and we are condemned to death. But the good news is Jesus took that death, died so that we can resurrect into life. About 3 weeks ago, I was in Cincinnati. A classmate of mine lost her husband, 64 years old. 1 week later, another classmate of mine lost his wife, 55 years old, to pancreatic cancer. Every day, when I go to the critical care unit, we have people who are severely damaged. On Friday, we did a tracheostomy on a 52-year-old woman who has been brain dead because of serious brain hemorrhage. Diabetes, by 20 million every year. Of this, about 200,000 will die. America spends close to $150 billion on matters that are related to diabetes. Breast cancer, about 200,000 will be diagnosed every year in America. And it will claim the life of about 46,000 women. Prostate cancer, about 250,000 new cases every year in America. About 30,000 of them will die from complications. Colon cancer, more than 100,000 will be diagnosed in America every year. About 50,000 of them will die. Stroke, with severe brain damage and other complications. We spend about $53 billion on that every year. It would be nice if this beautiful country sees it as the right of every American to have health care. But we live in a time when it is okay for the government to mandate insurance for every car that is driven on the road, every house that is bought must have an insurance, but we don't yet see it that every single American should have health insurance. That's a discussion for another day. But that's the bad news. The good news is we are children of God. And the word of God says in Jeremiah that God has beautiful thoughts for us. Thoughts of peace, thoughts to prosper you. He also said very eloquently in the second book of John what his wish is for us. And it says, "Beloved, I wish for you to prosper in your body, even as in your soul." In other words, just like Pastor Peter was saying, God doesn't just care about our spiritual health, He cares about our physical health. The question I pose to you, therefore, is why is it that we are plagued by these diseases? My challenge to you today, and I do that to myself, is we have a responsibility in the actualization of God's beautiful promises to us. Let me say that again. We have a responsibility in the actualization of God's promises to us. If I give you a beautiful present, usually it's so beautiful, I make sure I wrap it. And I bring it to your husband. If you never unwrap it, you won't know what is in it. And if you unwrap it and you don't use it, you will never know how good it is. So, God's infinite wisdom and words, powerful words, in it lies secrets to our health. Vibrant, vigorous health. So that many of these diseases we just talked about, you will only hear about them, but you will not be afflicted by them. Hallelujah. Amen. Have you ever wondered why in the book of Joshua, chapter 6, the children of Israel are at the threshold of the promised land? And Joshua, who is leading the army, is told, Jericho, I have given to you. Christ on the cross said, it is finished. I have done all the work for you. You just need to do your part. Amen. Jericho, I have given to you. He didn't tell them, just go and sleep, and Jericho will just fall. He said something very profound. He said, you will walk around this Jericho once every day, and on the seventh day, you will walk around it. And at the end, you will blow the trumpet, and guess what happens to the wall of Jericho? It will fall apart. In other words, even though I have given you this beautiful place, you need to do your work. I'm challenging you to say today that we have a role to play in actualizing the promises of God. Hallelujah. So, what is it that I need to do? I need to leave my comfort zone and do that which I naturally won't like to do. And there's a potent example in the Bible. That young man is called Abraham. In Genesis chapter 12, God told him to leave his comfort zone where he was already well established. As a matter of fact, he was already very wealthy and moved into a foreign land. We don't like to eat fruits and vegetables. I'm challenging you today that our diet must predominantly consist of fruits and vegetables.
Amen.
And I'll tell you why. It cannot be hamburger
Oh, beautiful.
This is the food that Daniel and the other Israelite children ate for 10 days. And I like what Daniel told the headmaster. He said, you just try this for 10 days. If at the end of that 10 days, you see we are fading away, then we'll go back to the king's type of food. Lo and behold, at the end of 10 days, they were looking healthier. Can I challenge you to change your diet for the next 30 days? When you wake up in the morning, eat this type of food. At the end of 30 days, let's reevaluate. If you don't feel more vigorous, more bouncing your steps, less tired, and what? Can I put my reputation on the line? Can I even go further than that and say, I'll pay you every dime you spent on that diet if you didn't get the results you want? A couple of people have taken me up on that, and I've never had to pay anybody back. Romans chapter 12 verse 1 says, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. Deuteronomy 8 verse 7 says, for the Lord your God is bringing you into a land with streams and pools of water. Not Dunkin' Donut coffee. Not hot chocolate. Not soda. But water. And here is a land with wheat and barley and vines and fig trees, pomegranate, olive oil, and honey. This is the food in the promised land. When you go to the store, there are two sections of the store. The vast majority of the store, they parade dead, cooked, processed food. And that's usually the biggest part of it. There's one part of the store, and it's usually the small part. That's where you have living food, fresh fruits and vegetables. When I take my daughter to the shop, she likes to walk past that place. I always manage to drag her back. Let's go through this place and we'll talk. And now she has declared herself a vegetarian. But it depends on her mood. So we are working on it. I'm not going to tell you today that you should go home and just change your diet. All I'm asking is just make an incremental change. A good way, this colorful food, fruits and vegetables, you divide them into colors, you make your life simple. Carrots, yellow, orange, yellow, pepper, red, tomatoes, red, blueberry, blue and black, and green lettuce. So your fruits and vegetables divide them into those 5 broad colors. If you do select one from each of them, you will always have the richest blend of food. You don't need to know the name, just pick each of those colors. And it is for a reason that they have those colors. You see the food we just mentioned just now in Deuteronomy? They are rich in antioxidants. And you ask me, what is antioxidants? All the problems that we have come from free radicals. Those are the end products of the millions of biochemical reactions taking place in our body to keep us alive. And these free radicals, they are going about everywhere in our system and doing damages to the various parts of our body. God, in His infinite wisdom, designed our body so that there's an antidote for these free radicals. And these antidotes, they go about mopping up the free radicals. We call them scavengers. Just like you have a chimney in your house, all the dirt coming out, there's an outlet into this house. So God mops all these things up by putting free radical antioxidants in our system. So if you take something like vitamin C, which is mostly in fruits like citrus, they tend to be yellow. Those are very powerful in boosting your immune system. If you take free radicals that cause damage in our brain cells, so we have memory loss prematurely, dementia prematurely, those free radicals are mopped up by the antioxidants that we have in dark fruits. We call them phytochemicals, like in blueberry. Your brain cells are very healthy the more of these blue fruits and vegetables you enjoy. Breast and prostate. A woman has breast, a man has a prostate. If you take the red fruits and vegetables, i.e. red pepper, tomatoes, they are very rich in what we call lycopenes. These lycopenes are the antidotes of breast cancer and prostate cancer. The more you eat of them, the more you protect yourself from breast cancer and prostate cancer. The greens are very rich in antioxidants that protect our immune system. So the more greens you have in your food, the more vibrant and resilient and robust is your immune system. So that you don't need to worry when there are all sorts of infections in the air, because your body's immune system is the equivalent of the military system. It has the ability, when you feed it properly, to contain any form of diseases. That's why it's good for your food to be rich in flavonoids, which are mostly in your greens food. Finally, let me break it down. Exercise. You don't have to run a marathon. My brother Fred plays golf. I run. My brother, Mr. Matthews, does his treadmill. Find something to exercise every morning, every day. In fact, the American Society, Association of American Physicians, we have simplified it to say just do 30 days a week of 30 minutes walk. Not like this. Sometimes I go walking with my wife, and she's walking behind. Francis, leave me alone. I said, they said you should walk for 30 minutes, brisk walking. So take that time off. 30 minutes of vigorous walking, sweat it out. 3 days a week. That's not too much to ask, but it is good for you. It is good for us. Some of us like more vigorous exercises, but just engage in exercise every single day, or at least, if you just want to follow the rules, 3 days a week. I was really happy when Pastor Peter asked people to raise up their hand. I saw a lot of people raise up their hand. In some churches, most hands are like this. So you are doing very well. Taya, you dance. Put on that music and dance. That's exercise. And then drink a lot of water. That doesn't mean you can't drink soda every now and then. I'll be deceiving you because I do. On birthdays in my department, we like to celebrate our workers, my nurses, and the technicians. We like to celebrate their birthdays. And we bring food from all sorts of people, from the Philippines, from Jamaica, from Nigeria, and we eat. But that's probably once a month. So it's okay. Splurge. If I can we use it as a treat time, treat to yourself. Don't make it a slave job. Now, why is it that in America, somebody can be diagnosed with a stage 4 cervical cancer in 2017, 2018? There should be absolutely no reason for that. It may be different now that the so-called individual mandate, President Donald Trump, has proudly announced that he has removed it. And on Tuesday, I was watching the Republicans cheering for it. In the days of Obamacare, or AKA, Affordable Care Act, people don't wait until the disease is advanced. They had that small paper called insurance, and they could work for screening. And so we saw a lot of diseases at the stage where they are still curable. In a few years, with this new deal, people may not go to the emergency room, they may not go to see their doctors because they cannot afford the few dollars that it will cost for screening. There should be absolutely no reason why a woman can't have mammogram. At least every other year. Because breast cancer is curable if you catch it very early. Colon cancer is curable if you catch it very early. All sorts of cancers, they start small, and if you catch them early, thank God for the type of equipment and treatment options we have today, they can actually be cured. However, when you catch them late, almost always they are subjected to very serious treatments of surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, that may even be worse than the disease, and yet the cure rate is very low. So the key is preventive medicine. So I implore and beg all of us to make sure that we take care of our physicals. Screening, mammogram, prostate examinations. Check what your cholesterol is. You should be able to know what your blood pressure is vis-a-vis what it shouldn't be. You should be able to know what your body weight is compared to your height. We call it body mass index. Your weight is supposed to be so much per square inch of your body. Look at our beautiful children as they're walking out. They're also well proportioned. That's the way God designed it. They're very vigorous. That's the way God designed it. But as we get older, we begin to be less active. We begin to add weight. And all of a sudden we have arthritis, weight, back pain, and we just believe that this is age. That is not aging. You are supposed to age beautifully, graciously, vigorously, with more vitality. You're supposed to be able to get up without any fear at all about physical concerns, so you can be about doing God's work. So, screening, cholesterol, blood pressure, prostate, breast, cervical cancer. Do these things routinely. Eat. And lastly, stress. Stress. Even among Christians. I can't tell you how many pastors back in the days when I used to practice internal medicine that I have on sleeping pills. Why the stress? Why don't we sleep enough? Why don't we rest enough? Some people go from one job to the other because they got to live like Mr. Ernst. I cannot live the lifestyle of Jeff Bezos. I shouldn't even aspire to be like any other person, but to what God has given me. You have to live within or under your means, period. And so we put this stress on ourselves because we got to change our car every 3 years. We have to live in a big house. No. That's preventable. And a study just came out that said the people that lived the most fulfilling lives were people who had friends and families that they can bounce off their stress situations with. If I have somebody to confide in when I'm stressed, it's an outlet. If I have somebody that I feel vulnerable with, that's an outlet for your stress. That's God. And that's your friends and family. These people lived better quality life than the people who were caged in. And we got to watch it with our children. You or I grew up with friends, real friends. Our children are growing up with Facebook and internet friends. They no longer know how to handle the type of physical interaction that you and I had. Growing up, we used to wrestle, fight with people, argue, be in each other's space. All of a sudden, I noticed when my children were growing up, visiting friends, I noticed that each of their children had their own room and they had their own television. They're in the same house, but in different houses. So, watch that with our children, ensuring that they connect real. And don't let their world become that of the virtual world, but real world. Stress, bring it down. If we do all these things, it is then only you can challenge God and say, why not? Until you put His word into practice, we have no business asking God, where are you? For His word said, in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, if my people who are called by my name will pray to me, seek my face, and turn from their faulty ways, then I will hear. You can't begin to ask for His favor without putting His principles and precepts. I belong to a WhatsApp group, many, and I get this type of prayers sent to me every time. I pray in the name above every other name, that whoever is occupying your seat of breakthrough, closing your door of favor, scattering your seed of progress, pointing our fingers at you, fabricating lies against you, plotting your downfall, shooting negative arrows and bullets at you, today, the power of God will reverse their wishes back to them in Jesus' powerful name. This is garbage prayers.
Yeah.
And I'm always asked to circulate it. I won't circulate it. What this type of prayer does, and a lot of churches pray it, is remove their responsibility and put it as some imaginary thing. The key to our successful, vibrant, vital, vigorous life lies here with us. Because Christ on that cross said, it is finished. We have been liberated from all sorts of fears. We are no longer slaves to fear. Once you become liberated from that bondage thinking, there is no obstacle, there is no mountain that you cannot move, because the sea has been parted. All I need to do is do it. And so today is Communion Day. My brothers, if we will bring the bread and the drink. Don't. Christ alone. In Christ alone. Catholic church. Every Saturday, we go for confessions. And the priest always warned that without confessions, we cannot have sacraments the next Sunday. In Matthew chapter 26, verse 26, the apostles are anxious because God Himself, Jesus, had just announced what lays ahead. While they were eating, Jesus took some bread, and after a blessing, He broke it off and gave it to the disciples. This experience is replicated in the exact same word in Mark chapter 14, verse 23. There are not too many instances where exact same word is repeated. While they were eating, Jesus took some bread, and after blessing, He broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take it, this is my body." What we are partaking today is not because you are holy and righteous, it's because of God's broken body. Amen. That you are made whole. Hallelujah. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you. They will pass the bread. It is a very solemn and sobering experience for which you should be very grateful.
Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness. Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God and helpless faith, this gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones He came to save. Till on that cross as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin my hand was laid, here in the death of Christ I live.
He broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take this. This is my body." Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
had taken a cup and given thanks. He gave it to them. And they all drank from it. He said to them, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. Truly I say to you, I will never drink of the fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." Romans chapter 8, verse 16 says, "Abba, Father, the Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are children of God with a privilege. And if children, heirs also, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ. If indeed we suffer with Him, so that we may also be glorified with Him." Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes.
I declare today, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, as we suffer and as we are partaking in His blood and in His body, we have been ushered into a life of victory. Not because of ourselves, because of God's infinite love, unmerited love. Let us go in peace, unshackled, unfettered, no longer a slave to our bondage and our fear. Hallelujah! 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 Glory be to God. Thank you, Lord.
Guilt and life, no fear and death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry to final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from His hand till He returns.